So, fellow diaspora, my presidency will therefore be a game changer. As I've said, I'm bringing 2,000 factories in Kenya, 12 million jobs. I'll bring even more programs like Kazi Milele. Kazi Milele will employ at its peak 500,000 Kenyans. This will be earning 100,000 to start with next year. It will rise to almost 200,000 by 2030s. And those will be earning this amount of money, 100,000, then almost 200,000, beginning in the 2030s, will earn that money for the rest of their lives until they die. And even after death, their own spouses, surviving spouses and children, will continue getting this 100,000 or 200,000 for the rest of their lives. It's a unique scheme that has never been seen anywhere in the world. This is part of my innovation that I am bringing. 500,000, and that if you multiply that by every family having maybe 5 family members, so 500,000 times 5, that is 2.5 million Kenyans that will be getting over 200,000 for the rest of their lives. That is my presidency. Some of us, fellow diaspora, and this I'm mentioning because we need to understand why we are asking for assistance, for donations. Some of us consciously chose not to be corrupt. I personally had so many opportunities to inflate contracts and tenders when I worked in the office of the President and the Ministry of Finance also, or Vice President and the Ministry of Finance. When I worked in these offices, I had the chance to inflate contracts. I chose not to do so. I chose not to be corrupt. And I did so because I wanted to remain clean. I did not want to engage in raising money through uncouth means, because from the beginning I felt taking bribes is basically taking money from that poor woman, that poor mzee, somewhere deep in Baringo, money that ought to go to his development. If I became corrupt, that money was money supposed to benefit somebody in Kerio Valley, someone deep in Turkana or in Mandera, or somewhere in Siaya or Kisio Homa Bay. I will not accept, and I did not accept then, to take any bribes, and I will never do so. And to be corrupt so as to raise campaign funds is evil in itself. I better ask for help than be corrupt or steal public funds. The dollar you help me with is clean money. The dollar you give is a blessing. That money is blessed. Stolen money are not blessed. I opt to seek for donations instead of being corrupt. I better maybe for now for someone to ask, maybe to assure me that why are you asking for donations a whole presidential candidate? I better endure such a shame, but stick to the point and stick to the path. A multi-billionaire like Trump asked for help because he could not afford a campaign money. And I do not want to go to Kenya where I'm going to run a campaign like that one of Anyona or Wangari Maathai or others, or Wamalwa Kijana and others. You try to campaign and the money gets finished along the way. You don't make any difference. I want to run for president for this campaign because I know I will make a difference in life. of 50 million Kenyans. Ladies and gentlemen, as noted above, most of the campaign funds are sourced through corruption. Thus, it has been hard for Kenya to get the very finest and cleanest leaders who have declined bribes in favor of integrity. We have had great visionary and genuinely honest leaders, but this did not go far or make any impact due to financial constraints and lack of financial assistance. This is the case with leaders like Professor Wangari Maathai, Ekuru Aukot, Masinde Muliro, George Moseti Anyona, Koigi wa Wamwere Bildad Kagia, Paul Mwite, Wamalwa Kijana, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, Dr. Suma, Mwachofi, James Orengo, and many others. With little money and no donations, these very good and far-sighted leaders that I've mentioned were unable to traverse the entire country or engage a media breeze to popularize themselves. I wish to avoid their challenge and the consequences by asking for your help. I only wish to end with the fate that met these brothers and sisters. Sadly, those who had significant funds ended up being bankrupted by elections costs. We must ask ourselves, is the leadership therefore a preserve of those who may be having a lot, or do we resign to that fate that unless you have money, you can't run for president, you cannot become the president because you don't have money? Do we resign to the fate that you must have your own money to run for president? Do we agree to that? After the 2017 elections, I had many candidates coming to me asking for help to ward off auctioneers because they did not have money, they had taken loans, and after the election they had nothing. They had wanted their money now to be recovered. Some of them went to borrow money from Shylocks and other institutions that charge 30% and all that. Their things were getting auctioned. Let us help candidates. If we donate $10 or $30, that will not upset your family financial situation. It won't. And if we come 100,000 of us and just donate $10, brothers and sisters, it will not affect your personal family expenses. But if I go and spend hundreds of thousands, fellow diaspora, that will affect the family finances and worsen the situation. I request that you come up with your good hearts. Come up and help me with $10, $20, $30, whatever you can. If you're somewhere and you can afford $1,000, talk to a friend, talk to others. We build a team of 20,000. Inform me. Go to my email, Joseph the Good One, Joseph the Good One @gmail.com. Let us build this 20,000 diaspora. Who can afford 1,000? Na hizi shida ninazungumzia za campaign funds ziniondoke. We hit the ground going. If you just donate 1,000, it's enough. And I can guarantee you we will win that election. And you will get your 1,000 back within months. And those who will donate 10, 20, you will get thousands within a very short time. Ladies and gentlemen, support me. Go to the GoFundMe website, that platform, and search for search for Make Dr. Joseph Mburu President of Kenya 2022. That will be a great help. Bildad Kagia spent his last years in slums, where he died a very poor man after spending his wealth defending the poor as a member of parliament. An extremely wealthy person, Kenneth Matiba, business empire, crumbled shortly after the 1992 elections. He never recovered, and his assets were auctioned one by one. He could not raise funds to even repair his beach hotels in Mombasa. May God bless him and remember his family. Both Matiba and Rubia and many others who were engaged in the prolonged battle for the 1992 elections did not make a comeback in the subsequent elections as they lacked financial resources. His Excellency the Right Honorable Raila Odinga has tried, and after funding his 4 presidential bids, he has become nearly facing serious financial straits. It may not be a wonder, basically, and I know this my personal analysis as a professor. The handshake may not simply have been all about peace and unity of Kenyans and getting Kenya forward and all that. I've always felt in my analysis there may have been other factors. And one of these factors is the financial expenditures that the 2 principals incurred during past elections, not just 2017. They had spent a fortune. And they must have figured out, possibly, this is my analysis, that, hey, we have spent so much, we must at least get away to get this money back. You used money, you are in government. I used money, I am not having any position. Let us come together. I also get something, some income as we go along. The handshake may have been much to do with the expenses of elections. The previous elections, 2017 and others, and for the 2022 elections. How can all of them make money? In some way, either obviously salaries and allowances and all that, but through other networks and other ways. So ladies and gentlemen, this whole issue of the handshake may have a financial implication over the past expenses of elections. They are all therefore now having different positions in the government. Their supporters are having positions in the government, either appointed in parastatals and other commissions and others. And at least all are happy at the moment. Donating to my campaign is a big relief and a big solution, because we do not want to go the corrupt way or use uncouth methods to raise funds. I would rather not be a president rather than go to steal money or do other shady deals to raise money for my campaign. Help me, we move forward.